For decades, the US and Canada have shared more than just a border. They've built a deeply intertwined automotive industry. The 1965 Auto Pact erased tariffs on cars and parts, letting automakers build and assemble vehicles seamlessly across both countries. This integration fueled growth, with American giants like Ford and GM establishing major plants in Ontario, making the region vital to North American strategy. A car sold in California might have its engine from Michigan, transmission from Ontario, and final assembly back in the US, a true cross-border collaboration. This system kept costs down, supported millions of jobs, and made North America a global auto powerhouse. Later agreements like NAFTA and USMCA modernized the rules but kept the core principle. Cars and trucks would flow freely if they met regional content requirements. This stability allowed automakers to invest confidently, knowing the market was unified. But deep integration also meant that any policy shift in one country could disrupt the entire system, exposing vulnerabilities. Now, that foundation is facing its biggest test yet. Ottawa has just shocked the auto world. Canada is capping the number of US-made vehicles that can enter tariff-free. For years, American cars flowed north with almost no restrictions. Now, any exports above the new quota face steep tariffs. The cap is well below what US automakers have been sending, and it targets finished vehicles, not parts. This forces US companies to rethink their entire North American strategy, ending the era of unlimited, tariff-free access. The Canadian government says it's about rebalancing trade and protecting its manufacturing base. The change is immediate, throwing automakers' logistics and sales into chaos. Shipments already en route may face surprise taxes, and Canadian dealerships are suddenly unsure about supply and pricing. This isn't just a short-term disruption, it's a fundamental break from decades of collaboration. The open road for US-Canada auto trade now has a costly new toll booth. Why now? Canada's move is driven by mounting economic pressure and a need to protect its auto sector. US automakers have shifted billions in investment to American plants, leaving Canadian workers behind. The auto industry is crucial for Ontario, supporting hundreds of thousands of jobs. Canada's new tariffs are a calculated gamble, make it more expensive to import US cars, and automakers might invest in Canadian plants instead. The electric vehicle revolution has intensified the competition, with the US offering huge incentives to keep EV production at home. Canada fears being left out of the future of auto manufacturing. By imposing limits, Canada is signaling that market access comes with conditions. If automakers want tariff-free sales, they need to build more in Canada. The policy is designed to force new investment and secure a future for Canadian manufacturing. It's a high-stakes move, but one Canada sees as necessary to stay in the game. The message, invest here or pay the price. To understand Canada's move, look back to the Trump era. America First trade policies upended the US-Canada relationship, with threats of tariffs and a tough renegotiation of NAFTA into USMCA. Trump's administration used tariffs as leverage, forcing concessions and showing Canada that trade could get rough. The USMCA's stricter rules of origin and aggressive enforcement set a new, more confrontational tone. Canada learned that it had to fight for its interests, even if it meant using the same playbook. Now, Canada is using the USMCA's tools and spirit to protect its own industry. The Trump-era push for US dominance taught Canada that friendly cooperation was no longer guaranteed. Tariffs and protectionism became normalized. Canada's current action is a direct response, a delayed but deliberate reaction to the trade tactics of the last decade. The lesson: in today's trade world, you have to play hardball. For US automakers, Canada's new limits are a logistical and financial nightmare. Companies like GM and Ford built their business on a borderless market. Now, a big chunk of exports to Canada may no longer be profitable. Automakers must choose absorb the tariffs, pass costs to Canadian buyers, or rethink their entire production strategy. In the short term, they may slash Canadian sales forecasts and reroute vehicles to the US, risking oversupply. Long term, the big question: is it worth building new assembly lines in Canada to avoid tariffs? For Canada, this is a high-risk, high-reward gamble. If automakers invest, it's a win. If they pull back, it could backfire. Canadian suppliers could benefit from new investment, but if automakers walk away, consumers face higher prices and fewer choices. The industry faces deep uncertainty, with billions in investment and thousands of jobs on the line. The stakes have never been higher for North American auto manufacturing. For consumers, the impact is immediate and personal. Canadian car buyers will see higher prices and fewer choices, especially for popular US-made trucks and SUVs. Some models may disappear from showrooms altogether, and waiting lists could grow. For Americans, the effect is less direct. An oversupply of certain models could mean short-term discounts, but it's not sustainable. If US plants cut production due to lost Canadian sales, American jobs could be at risk. The integrated North American supply chain kept costs low and choices high. Breaking that system means new costs and inefficiencies for everyone. Ultimately, consumers on both sides of the border will pay through higher prices, fewer options, or economic instability. What once felt like a distant trade dispute is now hitting wallets and showrooms. The era of easy cross-border car shopping is over. What's next? The North American auto industry faces a period of intense uncertainty. Automakers will lobby for exemptions or new deals, while weighing whether to invest in Canada or absorb the tariffs. The US government could retaliate with its own tariffs, risking a trade war, or seek a diplomatic solution. The choices made now will shape the industry for decades. This conflict marks a shift from open markets to strategic protectionism, as countries fight to secure key industries like EVs. Canada's move is a direct response to America's own protectionist turn. The result: immediate pain for automakers and consumers, and a new era of tough negotiations. The once stable, unified North American auto market is now fractured. The road ahead is full of obstacles, and the future of cross-border auto trade is up for grabs. One thing is clear: the rules of the game have changed.